Hello, Reporter Room investigators. Welcome to a Sebastian Rogers update. My name is Jessica Della Davies. I'm an investigative journalist. My job is to investigate crime scenes, criminals, and potential suspects, and share with you how to do the same thing. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Like and share on your socials. Katie Proudfoot did a brand new interview today. She did it with Reels, and I've edited something for you guys. Let's start with this, and then we're going to dig into it, you guys.
You wake up every day angry.
Sebastian, he is...
like to say to whoever has my children that they please.
We're just hoping that he...
functioning autistic.
happy and alive.
Wherever you are, just know that we are not going to stop. We're gonna keep starting.
This is Reporter Room with Jessica Della Davies.
So we're going to dig into this interview. This was conducted by Reels Online, and I want you to watch Katie's body language because, in my opinion, I think she's reading from like a post-it note or some kind of script for herself. Let me know what you think about this, and then I'm going to say hello to chat. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. It's great to see you. I'm glad you're here. You guys know I like to get right into stuff, so let's get started. We have a lot of stuff to go through. I'm also going to share with you how Sebastian would have been taken or removed from the house. Let's start, though, with this brand new interview by Katie Proudfoot. In my opinion, we have seen all of this before. Let me know what you think about this in the comments section below.
The latest on the search.
So law enforcement is exploring any and all possibilities. They're communicating daily with us about updates and the statuses. We have faith that all the law enforcement agencies involved are doing everything that they can, and we're going to find Sebastian and bring him home.
We know the most important thing right now is to get the word out about Sebastian. What would you like our viewers to know about your son?
Sebastian, he is high-functioning autistic. He loves animals. He loves video games. He loves fishing.
You're so goofy.
He's typically a very, very sweet boy. He can be quite temperamental, though, if he's overstimulated or if he's stressed out. He has a unique run. He runs like the Naruto anime character. When he's excited, he likes to dab, and he loves music. He loves to dance.
That's all very helpful information. Now, if Sebastian is out there watching, what would you like to say to your son?
I would say, Bubba, we love you. We all love you so much. Wherever you are, just know that we are not going to stop. We're going to keep searching. We're going to find you. We're going to bring you home. And if you ever get an opportunity, find a phone, find a safe adult, call 911. But I'd also like to ask our community to please keep searching your properties. Keep sharing his flyer.
And it looks to me like she's checking her notes. Again, I saw this several times.
If you know something or you see something, please say something. Call the law enforcement immediately.
So I saw somebody, to me, that looked like she was checking her notes an awful lot. What did you see? We have so much stuff to dig into. I have a lot of packages prepared for you guys. Come on in, come on in. Let me grab the next one just to get queued up and ready. So we have... I want to go into how Sebastian would have been taken, and then we're going to dig into that interview a little bit more. And I do want to give credit to Reels, Reelz, and Spotline for that. Okay, so this is someone's opinion, but I do think it's definitely worth reading and looking into. Okay, so this is how somebody would have been taken from his house. So if somebody pulled off the property off of Long Hollow Pike and Old Barns belonging, that person parked there and walked from the construction site into the backyard of the houses. So who doesn't have an alibi? Well, the only one that has a rock solid alibi, in my opinion, is Seth Rogers. That person parked there and walked from the construction site through the trees and into the backyard of houses in Victoria Place subdivision where Sebastian lived. This is probably, I'm not going to say which house it is, but backs up to the construction site. There would only be one neighborhood street to cross in order to reach the back side door of Sebastian's house while passing between other houses. So I think whoever did this was very intentional in what they were doing. And I think that they would have wanted to avoid cameras. So Sebastian was probably carried piggyback for the walk back to the waiting vehicle, at least from the point of where they entered back into the construction site in order to avoid two sets of footprints because it was muddy. Carrying Sebastian piggyback would also ensure he didn't stray from the path of a dense tree coverage or into any potential camera views. So nobody resides at this property. And this is Annie Substack. I think she did a really good job. So I do think that I am beginning to feel like this is an intentional way to get someone to disappear. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Let me grab the next one. There we go. Okay. So for those of you who are not familiar with this case, I do want to just give you a very quick catch up on this. Just so that everybody is, if you are, just be patient because we have some people who don't know.
Issued an endangered child alert for 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers. Now, he was last seen earlier in the day near Stafford Court in Hendersonville. That alert was later upgraded to an Amber Alert. Later that week, the Sumner County Sheriff's Office announced a $3,500 reward for information leading to Rogers. Now, after 1 week of searches by land, air, and water authorities announced they were scaling back the ground search for Rogers and transitioning into an investigation. Well, Sumner County Deputy Chief Eric Craddock said this did not mean they were giving up hope.
This does not diminish our commitment to finding Sebastian. This is simply us transitioning from the ground search to the investigative side. We are still committed to finding Sebastian and bringing him home safe. We have no leads, no details to indicate that Sebastian is not alive.
So let's dig into this whole thing. So Sebastian has high functioning autism, as Katie just shared. He's previously been described by Katie in the past as being very smart, not a mischievous child by any means. I showed you that interview already. So he took out the trash to the end of the driveway, as was his usual chore. Around 9 p.m., he was told to go to bed. Other than that, and the fact that he was playing in his room, we don't know what he was doing after he left the Texas Roadhouse after eating a colossal amount of popcorn. And he had what could be described as the perfect day. So at 6 o'clock, Katie says she went in to wake Sebastian on Monday morning, and he was simply not there. She scanned the entire house. In just a minute, she said it's typical for him to get up and rummage for snacks or will dip behind walls and playfully scare her. She said she didn't see him in his room. She looked all over. She ran through the house. I looked through all the doors and windows. It was like hollering his name. I was hollering his name, she said. She said she jumped in the car, drove around the neighborhood, and drove over by the school And like at this point, she said she was hysterical, she was crying, and she was screaming. So her husband is the one that called law enforcement. But here we are. I think it's 50 days today. We still haven't found Sebastian. Now, both Katie and Chris Proudfoot have described Sebastian as, quote, not a child that wanders, that he is very smart, functional, happy person, just a teenager who is coming into his hormones. So we have heard a little bit about this, the fact that he was, reaching puberty and that this was causing him to maybe get too close to certain people. Because, one of the characteristics of autism is that they have trouble reading social cues. So they don't always know when to stop or what's too close. So a massive search was conducted by Sumner County Sheriff's Office, and this lasted about a week. And it was scaled back as they transitioned into the investigative side of the case over this past week. And detectives had added that they have no reason to believe that Sebastian is not still with us. I'm watching my words. So most of you guys have seen the two flashlights outside the family home. Let me show you that. So can you guys see this okay? So this is what was supposed to be two different flashlights. However, Seth Rogers, that's Sebastian's dad, said that he was not able to make out whether or not this was Sebastian or not. So from these two little flashpoints, he said that as he saw the footage firsthand from law enforcement. Chris Proudfoot said everything that everyone's trying to assume is a flashlight. I hate to say this, but as much as we would love it to be, it's not. So the TBI said in a recent update that we do caution that some surveillance video being shared by the public may have been misinterpreted or misidentified. And I think, Sebastian, from what I understand, it's a green light, which doesn't even pick up on this camera. It's a green light. So and Sebastian's father, Seth, said, who saw it directly from law enforcement, he said he could not tell whether it's Sebastian or someone else. So Chris and Katie Proudfoot said nothing has been eliminated from the investigation. They said everything he got out and walked away and was outside of the search radius before we started searching to the worst, said his mother, but added she was trying not to go down that road of thought. She said she knows that they're going to find him. He's out there somewhere. Katie says she's been miserable ever since Sebastian disappeared. She said, quote, we just want you home, baby. We love you, she said on YouTube directly to Sebastian. And I believe this was in an interview with Chronicles of Olivia. So once the weeks have gone by with no sign of Sebastian, the TBI said they have not forgotten about him. Well, we're not letting them forget about him, are we? They said much of the work currently being done to bring Sebastian home may not necessarily be public or visible, but agents and intelligent analysts continue to work around the clock to review every bit of information available. Sebastian's family has remained cooperative. Okay, so I think that's really interesting.
All very helpful information.
I do want to
now
check in with chat because we have, and then we're going to go through this interview. We're going to go through this interview together and break it down. So let me hop over here and grab it. So this interview was done by Reels. And I have that queued up ready to go. All right, so we're going to watch the interview in its entirety. So let me, so this is where they were searching that Kentucky landfill. It does make me wonder what they found that made them think that. And I think it goes back to those trash cans being, and searchers being told that the trash cans felt heavier than usual. So law enforcement's been really quiet. We haven't had an update since the beginning of April, which I think is very, very interesting. let me check in and say hello to chat. Tell me what you think about all of this. Please give this a thumbs up and help me out with the YouTube algorithm. Okay, I'm just backing up to today a little bit. All right. This is our head mod. This is Sixth Sense Amelia. And thank you to our mods, our channel members, and our subscribers. So, hey, Brother Mike. Hey, Anjaz. Hi, Leslie. So come on in, guys. We're going to be going through, taking your questions. We have a new interview. Katie Proudfoot gave a new interview. We're going to dig into that today. Hey, Olwen. Hey, Mama Bear. Hey, Borika. Tell me where you're from and drop me your questions, guys. I'm looking for questions. Hey, Rianne. I am a fact-oriented channel. We're critical thinkers. I provide all of the information, and my viewers make up their own mind. So if you're interested in having all of the information so you can decide for yourself, then you're in the right place. Please subscribe. This is a critical thinkers channel. We have some of the smartest viewers on YouTube. So come on in, you guys. Tell me what you guys think about all of this. And I'm looking for questions. Okay, Dane says, something is just not right about the mother. Denise says, now that she's wearing the missing shirt, just like Candace, a little late. Mike said, yes, indeed. And Jazz, thank you so much for moderating today. Good morning from New Zealand to you, Amelia. Lolo says she doesn't know what to think. Mama Bear says she calls him Goofy all the time. In England, it means silly. Is that the same in America? Yeah, I think it's Goofy can be, it can be a little bit of a negative, but it could also just be a term of endearment. Sandy is noting that she looks well rested. Frank says it's hard to believe that Chris and Katie and Seth don't understand what Miranda's rights mean. They love to talk. Hey, Grammy. Victoria thinks it's fake. Olwen says she never started searching. Nope, she never started searching, and they moved out of the house. That's true. Leslie thinks she is reading. That's what I want you guys to tell me. No tears. April says, in my opinion, she looks scared. Yes, she might be. I guess the question is why? Sandy says she's definitely looking at notes. Marcia said everybody needs to go back and compare her to the other mothers that have been convicted. Well, that's what I did on this video. Let's look at it together. For those of you who don't know, this is Leilani Simon and her mother, and and we know that Leilani was arrested for what happened to Quentin.
You wake up every day angry.
The other mother you're going to see is Susan Smith.
You wake up every day angry.
Sebastian, he is.
Like to say to whoever has my children that they please.
We just hope that he
Functioning autistic.
happy and alive.
Wherever you are, just know that we are not going to stop.
So we have seen all of this before. Come on in, come on in. Give this a thumbs up. Marcia says everybody needs to go back and compare her to other mothers, and that's what we're doing today. That's one of the things we're doing. Scripted, Michelle says. Mama Bears, hey, good to see you. She looks tired and worried. Thanks for that, Lynn. My brother Mike thinks Proudfoot stinks. Jesus loves me said, yes, notice that her looking down. Wow, she's reading that. We're going to go through the interview bit by bit. Elba Rica says, this could be coming from the heart. You shouldn't be reading anything. That's just my opinion. Fair enough. Daffy Dill says, I just recently found and subscribed to your channel. Loving it. Welcome. I'm so glad. Thank you for subscribing. Hey, Leslie. Jenny says, she was asked to do this to save face. I don't think so. Hey, Leo. Frank says, LA doesn't need a body. They need circumstantial evidence to arrest them. That's right. They just need something off those cameras. That's why they're asking everybody, not just from the time frame of when Katie says that Sebastian went missing, which is what they were originally asking for. Now they're asking for any kind of camera information on Sebastian for the day before, leading up to when he disappeared. So thanks for that, Frank. Mama Bear says maybe she's reading because there are things she can and can't say, and she's nervous. That could be. Six Cents Amelia says, I'd likely write notes. Otherwise, I'd be a blubbering mess, unable to convey necessary and vital information coherently. Leslie says she's reading. And Jazz says, a warm welcome to everyone coming in. Thanks, Jazz. Liz says, thank you. So glad to be here. Victoria says Seth has an alibi. Yes, he does. Seth has an alibi. He has a, what in my opinion, let me know what you think about this. So Seth has an alibi. He has a rock solid alibi, in my opinion. He has a rock solid alibi. He was working at the Davison prison. So he's employed there. He wasn't in prison. He's employed there. So he would have been on CCTV camera going into his job and leaving his job. And there's a lot of cameras in and around. I'm sorry, he's at a jail. So he would have been on camera going to and from work. He would have been clocked in and out. He would have been seen by coworkers. So, unless they change the time frame up, to me, he has a rock solid alibi. Hey, Orangewood. Katie really emphasized the phrase, neighbors, please continue to look on your properties for Sebastian. She did. Good point. Florence said, I want to see evidence before I start convicting people. Good. I think that's fair. We don't have any evidence, and everyone is innocent until proven guilty. Nobody's proved that she's guilty. Nobody's proved. But Peter Hyatt, who's a statement analyst, did go through everything. He works with law enforcement. So I do take what he has to say fairly seriously. And we're going to go through this interview together. Deborah says all of his pictures with mom, they look happy. He's well taken care of, loved and clean. She understands him and needs and wants us to know his personality. Thanks for that. Wicked says hello. Welcome. Glad you guys are here. Amelia says, Seth has a rock solid alibi at work, CCTV. Who doesn't have a solid alibi? Well, Chris Proudfoot says that he has a rock solid alibi because he says he was out of town. Supposedly he and Katie, according to them, were talking on the phone for 3 hours from around 9:30-ish till a little past midnight. We know Katie said she heard a thud coming from Sebastian's room at around 10 p.m. But she didn't go to check on him. But as I've shared with you before, I don't think it would be that hard to create an alibi for yourself. Katie does have experience in the Navy with GPS, so she would understand how that works. To me, you could just leave your cell phone in place and still drive. So that's why I think Chris Proudfoot should take a lie detector test, in my opinion. He's not required to. Nobody can force him, but I would want to clear myself so people can move forward. Michelle said Madeline's mom saw her getting dressed at 8 a.m. Sebastian's mom says she heard a thud. Hey, crispy critter. Ellen says he's been missing for 40 plus days. Yeah, I think we're getting into day 50. Dutch mom says, when she said a while ago, she watched his photo when she gave interviews. Please don't forget to give us a thumbs up. It does help me out. Keeps me boosted, as they say. Shrimp says, who was the body? No, he was not found. Nothing's been found about him. Just a new interview with Katie, which we're going to go through. Addis Perez says, why a 3-hour phone call? I believe that's an argument that happened between Sebastian and Katie. She lost control, called her husband to come over to help clean it up and cover up. She never looked for her son. Or it could have been something where she, Peter Hyatt thinks that it was maybe something that she, locked him out. Because she said he walked out the door. Remember, she said that in the interview. So his analysis was that maybe she, and then some people are speculating that this last day they had together, this perfect day, was just too perfect. And that's Brother Mike is saying, I believe. Marcia says, I hopefully law enforcement would look and see where Chris's mother and family members were at the time that Katie and Sebastian left. Hippie says, when they moved, what happened to the boys' belongings? Is the entire house empty? My understanding is I don't know what's in the house. I don't think they pulled up a truck and moved. I think they just got in their camper and took off. Hey, Jersey lady. Thank you so much to everybody for being here. All right, let's go through this interview together. And said the best, come home, Sebastian. Yeah, we're going to keep eyes on this. We're going to keep law enforcement focused on this. We have not had an update from law enforcement. Okay, so this is Reels. Let me just show you who this is. This is Reels channel. I'm going to follow them. They're on Twitter. And they did an interview with Katie. Really good interview with her. It was short, it was sweet. I wish we would have gotten to see her face the whole time instead of showing the images over it, but I'm wondering if she was possibly reading. Let me know what you guys think. Let's go over to Peter Hyatt, because he had a very interesting take on this. For those of you who don't know, he's a statement analyst who was hired by Richard D. Hall during the Madeleine McCann missing case. Richard D. Hall did a documentary on it, and Peter Hyatt came in and did a statement analyst. I've never had seen anybody at that point do something like that before, so I was really intrigued. And he went in and went through the whole thing. So this is his view. This is his take on it. And he is an expert. I just want to let me share that real quick so you know who this is coming from. This is a deception detection instructor. Seminar for Law Enforcement, Intelligence, Military, and Business Employment Analysis, Anonymous Author Identification. Okay, so this is what Peter has to say about this. He says that in his view, this is his opinion, but it's an expert opinion. Mom and stepdad put Sebastian outside barefoot as a punishment, or called his bluff to run away after an altercation and locked the door. Now upset, he either had an accident in water, cave elements, or met foul play being picked up by a stranger. So he doesn't think that it was intentional, but he does think that the act of putting him outside, that there would be culpability involved in that, because he is a special needs teenager. So he said that unless under duress, he wouldn't have left without his shoes. And we've heard the same thing from Seth Rogers, who is Sebastian's father. He said that Sebastian had an issue with fire ants and would not have left the house without his shoes on. Peter goes on to say, mother and stepfather's repeated insistence that he walked out the door was something they wouldn't budge from. And we saw this also in the Madeleine McCann case. She was abducted. There was just, no other way that she could have disappeared, even though she had been left unattended with her two younger siblings. She was only a preschooler. And the two younger siblings were even littler than she was. So this is Peter Hyatt's opinion. He says they know, and he's talking about Chris and Katie Proudfoot. He goes on to say Chris's changing story is likely due to avoidance guilt. He's acutely aware of social media. He regularly minimizes CPS involvement while touting what a great parent he was. That is a problem. He says, I think they were up all night, long phone call, scared, and that 6 a.m. wake up for school account is artificial. This is Peter Hyatt. So without Sebastian to testify, they are unlikely to face any charges. Sebastian's stepfather's ability to talk about himself for hours without concern for Sebastian unprompted, and his bellicose language gives us insight into his negative relationship with Sebastian and what life was like for Sebastian. And we saw Chris Proudfoot in the interview I showed you yesterday. He laughs not once, not twice, but 3 times in that interview. Reminds me a lot of Chris Watts. Was that like a little bit of duping delight? What do you think? He says they did not indicate guilty knowledge of, I'm watching my words, D or nor of his location. They withheld information about what happened to Sebastian that led him to being outside the door. So I think, that pretty much sums up Peter Hyatt and his view. So he created this on March 27th. And then he posted one more post that I think is very intriguing. This is called the $1 million question. He said, the $1 million question is why. This is something that Chris Proudfoot said in the interview that I showed you yesterday. And Peter Hyatt says, concerned parents want to know where the missing child is. This is a deceptive statement to feign that the stepfather and mother didn't know why Sebastian went out the door. So that was how they described it. Not out the window, out the door. So to Peter Hyatt's opinion, and everything that I'm sharing is my opinion. Everything our audience is sharing, our viewers, is our opinion. So, but Peter Hyatt, at least he has an expert opinion, which is why I'm sharing this. He said it shows concern over being what happened to cause him, he's talking about Sebastian, to be missing and something they do not want known. So he's speaking specifically here of Chris and Katie Proudfoot. And he says the $1 million question for everyone else is, where is Sebastian? And Peter Hyatt said they were pretending not to know why he was out the door. This was their priority. And what he means by that is they're giving the interview. This was their priority in the interview, that they do not get blamed. And he went on to say they know what caused him to go out the door. So as the public yearned to know where Sebastian is, the stepfather told us the most pressing question was why. The public would not have known to ask why had the stepfather not introduced it himself. And he says, liars teach us how to ask the right questions. He says there was an altercation and or punishment of locking him out of the house. Then he goes on to say, the 3-hour phone call links stepfather to the mother in this guilt. This is why he used emphatic language, $1 million question, to indicate priority. So emphatic language means he wanted to have an emphasis on it. $1 million question, he was indicating that this is what his priority. Peter Hyatt goes on to say, I believe they do not know where he is, but they know exactly what they did to cause him to be barefoot, without his phone, and locked out. Then on the April 11th, Peter Hyatt goes on to say, if Sebastian met with an accident or with a stranger who harmed him, Katie and Chris are responsible for what happened to him. They are covering this up. The investigation should focus upon them, using Chris's own words in the interview and interrogation. He says, when Proudfoot said, he's talking about Chris here, the $1 million question is why Sebastian walked out the door, he was doing what deceptive, manipulative persons do. They try to preempt the question by posing it first to convince the interviewer there's no need to prove this topic. Often the interviewer wouldn't have thought to ask such a question until the guilty subject made this attempt to get the topics cleared off the table. It is brought to the interviewer's mind that which he or she would not have thought to ask about. This alerts the investigator to the subject's need to avoid the topic. Hence, it's precisely where the investigator aims the questions. And he says that Proudfoot, he's talking about Chris here, led the audience right to it, re-interview him. Is this why Chris Proudfoot does not want to give an interview to law enforcement? So I'm on Twitter as well. If I can pull up my own. Let me go home here real quick. I'm verified as a journalist. I was verified as a journalist prior to blue check marks being sold. If you hover over my check mark on Twitter, you'll be able to see that I was verified over like a year and a half before they were being sold as a journalist. And then I also just screenshotted this, just showing that I'm also verified on Facebook and also on Spoutable. So I just wanted to share that with Peter Hyatt. I thought it was really interesting. Let me grab the next package. hold on one second. Let me get back to you guys. Okay. So have we seen all this before? Let me check in with chat. Hey, Green Eyes. Green Eyes says Ben Affleck, the movie, the account movie is about a guy with high functioning autism. Shannon says watching him and her a lot from my past marriage came up being married to a narcissist, triggered a lot watching Chris Proudfoot's behavior and hearing how he treats women. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so many people feel like that. I do want to show you guys something. I want to do talk about coercive control with you guys. What is it? And are we seeing this with Chris Proudfoot? Let me know. I'm going to share with you what it is, and then you guys can decide for yourself what you think this is. Is this something that you have experienced in your own life? Let me grab this really quick, and then we're going to dig back into the Proudfoots in just a second, but I want to take you guys through this because I think it's really important. I'm sharing the wrong one. Okay, can you guys see that okay? No, you can't. Okay. That's why I came back and checked before I started reading. Share this tab instead. Let's see if I am sharing the right one. I'm sorry. Okay. That's embarrassing. All right. So we're going to talk about this in just a second. And is this something that we're seeing in the Chris Proudfoot interview? Let me know what you think. Let me grab some comments here. I'm behind on chat. Thank you so much for the $1 super chat. I really appreciate that, Michaela. I'm like way behind. Okay. And Elmer says no. Florence says I saw it you guys on a loop now. Okay. Trying to catch up with chat without. All right, I'm just going to start here. Hey, Create Vids Music says Jessica doesn't realize she isn't showing the information on the screen. I do now. You didn't see the video that I showed you on Twitter? Did you guys see that or not? Let me know. Violet Moon says we've all seen this play out before. The poor kid is dead and the stepfather did it. His body. I don't know. If I'm only hoping he's alive. Hey, Mama. Thank you so much for the Mama She 13. We thank you for the super chat. We didn't see or hear the interviews from the reels. Oh, you didn't? Oh my gosh. Okay, let me grab that for you guys really quick. I'm so sorry. Okay. I apologize. Let me grab it for you. So this is like. Okay. So you couldn't see or hear it? Oh, man. Okay. Can you see it now? Let me just check before I. Okay. So you can see it now. All right. Let me go ahead. So this is from Reels, and which is right here on Twitter.
He's not been seen or heard from since. Thanks for being with us. So first of all, how are you and your family holding up?
I would say that this isn't a tragedy that we would wish anyone to ever experience.
All right, let me play it for you guys. I'm so sorry.
Say that this isn't a tragedy that we would wish anyone to ever experience. We're keeping our faith, and we're praying every day that we're going to find Sebastian.
What's the latest on the search?
So, law enforcement is exploring any and all possibilities. They're communicating daily with us about updates and the statuses. We have faith that all the law enforcement agencies involved are doing everything that they can, and we're going to find Sebastian and bring him home.
We know the most important thing right now is to get the word out about Sebastian. What would you like our viewers to know about your son?
Sebastian, he is high functioning autistic.
So what I was showing you here is that I think she's reading notes. See? Watch her eyes.
He loves animals. He loves video games. He loves fishing.
You're so goofy.
He's typically a very, very sweet boy. He can be quite temperamental, though, if he's overstimulated or if he's stressed out.
So as I shared earlier, I don't like it that she's negative here. He can be quite temperamental. I think it's unusual for missing parents to be negative about a missing child.
Until though, if he's overstimulated or if he's stressed out, he has a unique run. He runs like the Naruto anime character. When he's excited, he likes to dab, and he loves music. He loves to dance.
That's all very helpful information. Now, if Sebastian is out there watching, what would you like to say to your son?
I would say,
and again, I feel like she's checking notes here. What would she like to say?
If Sebastian is out there watching, what would you like to say to your son?
I would say, Bubba, we love you. We all love you so much.
Again, I just feel like she's checking notes here.
I would say, Bubba, we love you. We all love you so much. Wherever you are, just know that we are not going to stop. We're going to keep searching. We're going to find you. We're going to bring you home. And if you ever get an opportunity, find a phone, find a safe adult, call 911.
So I do wonder if they put images over this because she literally is reading this.
But I'd also like to ask our community to please keep searching your properties. Keep sharing his flyer. If you know something or you see something, please say something. Call the law enforcement immediately.
We're going to do everything we can to help find him.
Thank you.
Okay, so that is Katie Proudfoot, and the interview is being done by Reels. Let me just show you who they are since I messed up last time. I'm really sorry. They are on Twitter. And they also, it looks like they're on Instagram and TikTok if you guys want to follow them there. Let me go ahead and grab this one now. Make sure you guys can see it. Okay. I'm so sorry about that, you guys. So we're going to talk about coercive control. Is that what we're seeing between Katie and Chris Proudfoot? A lot of you guys have raised comments in the comment section that you believe that it is, which is why I wanted to look into this a little bit. So coercive control, I'm going to watch my words here, is a strategic form of ongoing psychological and emotional which is based on control, manipulation, and oppression. It is narcissistically fueled. Both coercive control and traumatic bonds are based on intermittent reinforcement. So we're going to be talking a little bit about DV. So a little bit of a trigger warning if you guys have a little bit of history on that, but I am going to watch my words and keep this family friendly. So it uses tactics like gaslighting, overt devaluation, or DV. So coercive control is a strategic form of ongoing psychological and emotional. It's manipulative, it's oppressive. It can happen to men and women, but women ages 18 to 29 are thought to be in the highest risk category, but this can happen to men as well. And it can happen to women of all ages as well. It can also happen to young people. So other risk factors include low education or income, having traits associated with borderline personality disorder, emotional or financial dependency, low self-esteem, and a history of being A. So coercive control consists of ongoing and increasing use of manipulative strategy. So maybe you've had this happen to you in your own life, that deny a victim their autonomy, their sense of self, an imbalance of power, and psychological and emotional exploitation are used to systematically harm another person. So, what makes coercive, my source on this, by the way, is Psychology Today. What makes a coercive control more damaging is that the person may not recognize that they're being controlled or manipulated until their self esteem, their sense of safety, and their autonomy have come undone. It can be seen in traumatic bonds, which often occur in relationships, DV relationships fueled by high levels of narcissism. And we heard Peter Hyatt talking about how much Chris Proudfoot loves to talk about himself. Both, and I'm not using narcissism as a diagnosis. When I'm describing Chris Proudfoot, I'm using it as an adjective because I'm not a psychologist. Both are based on cycles of intermittent positive and negative reinforcement. So, from an emotional, cognitive, and psychological perspective, coercive control can be more damaging to a victim because many times the damage is not immediately seen. There may be no overt signs, no physical or verbal. This can leave a victim questioning if what they're experiencing is actually mistreatment. So, let's go through the 4 most common patterns. I'm not going to read all of this to you. But limiting your autonomy, which just means limiting your ability to do um, your own thing. So some of the ways that they can do this is getting someone fired, restricting access to transportation, telling a person's friends are not at home, devaluing the other person's choice of friends, and maybe you've experienced this in your own life, finding faults in your hobbies, or insisting they provide a receipt to validate where they were. So using technology to track. They may insist on placing cameras in the house as a security system, or may use two-way surveillance to speak to their partner, while the rationale given may be to keep their partner safe or to chat with them while they're at work. It's really not based on altruism, but based on self-interest and control. Intimacy is used. It can be based on making suggestions on what to wear, what to try, things like that. Monitoring the person's health and body. It can veer into a need for medical intervention when somebody's physical health is controlled or compromised. For example, someone may not have what they eat, how they sleep. And I'm just wondering, they may get compliments or positive reinforcement may be offered by sticking to a schedule controlled by the controlling person, praise for their partner for looking good or losing weight, which can make make you second guess yourself or even feel ashamed for questioning whether or not they are mistreating you. So coercive control, it's dangerous. The victim can receive lots of compliments and praise, known as love bombing, but it is just a cycle, and it is just a way to take away from you. So let me check in with chat. It's a new interview that Katie Proudfoot did. I just played it. Bar Lady thinks she is so fake. Royal Blue thinks she is always reading a script day one. Emma says still trying to find out. Sasha says, I wonder if the notes said pretend to cry. Andrea said, what is the breaking news that you claim? The brand new interview that she just did, Andrea, Mom 5. She just did a new interview. I don't know what you would call that, but in my line of work, we call that breaking news. Leslie said, did they go home? She is not in a trailer. K-Pick says, there is no actual breaking. Okay, I'm just going to take you out of the chat. If you guys are going to be rude, you guys are going to decide what's breaking news and what's not. I'm just going to take you out. Bye. I'm not here to no, you're not blocked. All opinions are welcome, but if you're just here to be unkind or unpleasant, moderators just take them out of the chat. You can give them a 5-minute timeout. And then I'll look at the chat later and just see if anybody needs to be removed from the channel, which is, a shame. I don't think I've ever had to like do that in a live stream before. If you don't consider a brand new interview with the missing mom to be breaking news, then I don't know what to tell you. Lizzie says ADS children can be like that. So if a stranger tried to help them and he is stressed, he might kicked off and have a tantrum. In my opinion, this is Elmer Woods. She is telling us Sebastian was overstimulated, had a meltdown, was being difficult. Katie is lonely. Chris Proudfoot isn't coming home. She resented Sebastian. Katie snapped. So we know that Chris Proudfoot, has told us that he wasn't coming home. He wasn't coming home, and he hadn't been home for the whole month of February. Why was this? Was this him being controlling, withholding until you do what I want? Was he encouraging her to be not supportive of Sebastian? Was there, what do you think? Cravy's, I would check oil tanks. Mom, oh, sir, says she is so worried about her son's missing. Then why would you leave to go camping, let alone if the rumor is true, sell your house? Yeah, I think so. Doodlebug, my problem is inconsistent statements from her and Chris. No searching, leaving town. I agree. Orange Wed believes that Chris Proudfoot is a narcissistic. Hey, Betty. Rochelle says, I think he was forcing her to choose between son and husband. Andrea says, please explain. Oh my gosh. Please explain your title. Andrea, I already did. Bye, Andrea. Lisa says, I don't understand why she didn't have any cameras around her house. To be honest, I believe there's more to the story. It is really weird that she has this, job working with security, working with Brinks, but she didn't have any security cameras, no security lights on. Caddy Wampo says, in my opinion, she adapts her responses and her mannerisms with each interview. Again, my opinion. I already told you, Lori. If you guys don't think an interview with a missing mom is breaking news, then I don't know what you're looking for. But as a professional journalist, a new interview with a parent of a missing child is breaking news. Deborah says, it's okay if she has notes or bullet points and wants to not forget anything while on camera. Anyone nerves. Doodlebug says, I do not believe she's selling the house at this time. Leslie says, isn't she an alcoholic or has problems? Not that I've known, that I've ever heard. Elmer says, CP seems overly confident. Talk about Chris Proudfoot, like he knows he can say and do what he wants without the consequences of getting caught. Why so confident? Laura says she knows. Glad got to see it without Chris Proudfoot. Yes, can see through her as an MMA. Hey, Cirrus. Sandy says, do they have a family that works for the sheriff's department talking about Chris Proudfoot's family? I've not been able to independently confirm that. I've seen that, but I have not been able to independently confirm that. Amelia wants to know if we need to slow the chat down. Chris Proudfoot is tight with law enforcement, said he probably thinks he won't be blamed. Create Vids Muse thinks Chris controls her. And what made me think of this, the course of control, was that interview that I showed you guys, not yesterday, but day before yesterday, where he's literally rubbing her hands the entire time. Do you know what I'm talking about? All we see are their hands. It's the strangest interview I've ever seen. Let's see if I can just grab that for you. This is Seth Rogers.
Radius that the initial search did, they covered everything there. But there's stuff elsewhere. I mean, we got a lot of territory to cover. And it being over a month, he could be anywhere currently. So I'm searching everywhere.
You, Katie, and Chris had a meeting with TBI today. Did you find out any new information?
Not that I can discuss.
Any progression that might show hope in this search?
Oh, I always have hope. Can't take that away from me.
And how confident are you that Sebastian is alive, and what do you think he's doing right now?
Pretty sure he's probably playing video games somewhere. Nobody's letting him, whoever's got him, they're not letting him see the regular news. They're not letting him surf the internet. Or else he'd know that I'm looking for him. And he'd know that he should actually be trying to get a hold of me. And that keeps me going.
Is there a strong reason to believe he may have been abducted?
I don't know if he's been abducted or if he's just, over at a friend's house. Never know. But I'll know when I find him. I'll know exactly what has happened to him.
And other news outlets.
So this is Caitlin Miller out of Nashville, and she's the one that did a very good open-ended interview with the parents that I showed you guys in the other live stream that I did earlier this week. I think she did a great job. It's definitely worth going to her Facebook page and checking it out. So this one is the one that she did with Seth.
Feeling today?
Same as I was yesterday. Just continuing the search.
I'm working to pull up the other one. Here we go.
Just to start, just so we
This
have
is
it
the
on file,
hands
just
one.
both your first and last names and spelling.
Katie Proudfoot, Katie, Proudfoot, Proudfoot.
Chris, Chris, last name's Proudfoot, Proudfoot.
So, I mean, first, just as parents, tell me what the last now over a week has been like for you two.
Horrible beyond words. This was an experience that I would have never dreamed would come. Honestly, I can't put words to how hard this has been and how much it hurts not knowing where my son is, where he's at, if he's okay.
So a lot of people saw this interview with them with the hands and felt like there was some potential controlling behavior going on Chris Proudfoot's part.
Just horrible is the best thing I can say.
What about for you?
It's rough. I mean, we are on day 11, no answers. And the horrible things that people say just keep rolling in, regardless of taking time to consider the facts and, assumptions is what they're going off of. But, for us, we sit here and we wait, and hopefully we'll get an answer, or hopefully he walks through our door, which would be amazing.
I was going to say, how badly do you both want Sebastian to just walk through that front door to get that call?
I'd give anything. In a heartbeat, I would give anything.
It's not measurable. Let's put it that way. There's no measurable. Anybody says, oh, it is. You've never sat in these shoes. You've never been in this situation. And I don't ever wish for people to be in this situation.
And what's Sebastian like? What's his personality like? What does he love to do?
He, for the most part, is happy. He likes to laugh and joke and tell you all about everything and then some. He loves games. He loves video games. He loves to play with his Legos, even building things with me. We build little projects here and there, but he's He's always a character.
Are there any like weird tendencies that he has that might be able to help people find him in this search?
I don't know how helpful to finding him, but he fidgets constantly. He loves shiny pennies, paper clips. He's always like, whenever we go to the grocery store, he always looks on the ground and looks under the register counter, and he's always looking for shiny pennies everywhere. Paper clips. He loves to bend them out of shape and play with them, fidget with them.
So this could just be lovingly holding hands, but a lot of people in the comment section felt like this was some type of coercive control on him, on his part. Marcia says, what is hid in darkness shall come to light sooner or later. Deborah says, I'm sad. I'm not trying to say I'm right, but give the mom a break. I lost a child, and so no one knows the pain and moods. At least this mom has hope he's alive. Lola says the hands interview. Yep. Chris tapping his fingers, impatient. I don't know. Royal says maybe she's covering his knuckles. I showed you guys the enhanced photos already earlier this week of the arms. Chris Create Vids Music wants to know where they headed for a divorce. I don't know, but he certainly hadn't been home for the month of February, so I think that's very interesting. Emma says in an interview, Seth said media was asking for more pictures, videos. He stated he wouldn't send any because that's all he has if he's gone forever, but what's also says he couldn't do anything to find him. I don't know. I think, everybody's just doing the best they can. Glenview Top says, what is this new thing that's bringing them down? I already showed you the interview and I went through Peter Hyatt's statement. If you're late, back up the chat so you guys know what's going on. I have questions as the parents are so sus, but if law enforcement is saying they don't suspect them, is there a reason why there's something we don't know? Or will they want them to put their guard down? It will come out eventually. Truth Exposed thinks he has temper anxiety issues. Green Eyes thinks she's on medication. Brother Mike said blue. Yes, it is. Tennessee Shine says, I think they need to check and investigate the garbage guy. Juju says, I'm praying that those remains they found in Mississippi are not Sebastian's. Speak Life Garden and Homestead. I just wonder if she's subconsciously rubbing the area on Chris's arms. No, that's higher up. I showed you guys the video on that. I can show you really quick again where that is, because I did make a video on that. And I enhanced the photos for you. But if you are newer, you may not have seen it. This is literally just 1 minute. Let me play it for you. So this is the photo that's been circulating on the internet of what's purported to be bite marks or scratches on Chris Proudfoot. And I'm not saying they are or they aren't, but I wanted to do my own enhancement. So I did. And you can see I left the top the same colors, the yellow and the burgundy. So you can see the different filters and different enhancements that I made. That's mine. So when I looked on this on a little screen, I didn't see a lot. When I put this on the big screen is where I really did see it. But you can see here, these are the where the purported scratches and bite marks are. I'm not telling you that's what they are. I enhanced them down here. So what do you guys see? So I did spend a few hours actually pulling the thing and then putting different filters on it. You can see the different filters that I ran it under. Enhanced, blew it up, tried a bunch of different filters, and I left the top the same with the burgundy yellow, so you could clearly see when I was using filters to try to show you guys what I saw. But there are marks there. I can't say for certainty what they are or what they aren't. This is another filter that I put on. But I did spend a long time working on this. And that is what I saw.
And alive. Angry. You wake up every day angry.
Sebastian, he is.
Like to say to whoever has my children that they please.
We just hoping that he.
Functioning autistic.
Happy and alive.
Wherever you are, just know that we are not going to stop.
So, in my opinion, we have seen a lot of this before. Let me know what you guys think about that. I do want to say thank you to Jane J, our VIP, our producers, George, Brown, and Jazz, and for Amber. Our channel members, if you would like to be a channel member, there is let me take this down. It's a join button, which is next to the subscribe button. I also want to say thank you to all of our subscribers and our mods. And also thank you for your super thanks and PayPal and gratitude. Thank you so much. And also for gifted channel members. Really appreciate you. If you would like to have your name show up just like this in future videos, you just need to hit the join button and it would appear in my videos and my live stream. And with that being said, I hope you guys will subscribe. And for the most part, everybody was very polite. I think I had 2 agitators in there. So, to me, a breaking news is when the mother does do a brand new interview. That is breaking news. And I am a professional journalist. I'm verified on Twitter. And I know a lot of people are verified on Twitter because they bought the blue check marks. But I did not buy mine. If you hover over my blue check mark, it will show you that I had it long before they were selling it. So I had to earn mine. To me, it's a difference between buying a trophy and earning it. I am a member of the Society of Professional Journalists, and this is my Twitter account. And you can see I screenshotted this before when I found out he was going to start selling blue check marks, because I just wanted to show people that I had not purchased mine. So with that said, I hope to see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful Sunday.